setting it up for the custom because we're going live on 5 different platforms.
Oh,
and
shit.
Steve, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Show 19.
Hello.
What up, Chad?
Is this show 19, you said?
I think so.
Oh, let's keep counting. All right, good.
We're a little bit behind Joe Rogan. He's at like 2086 on
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so we got some
I don't
work.
know if we can catch up. We'll see.
Jeez, man, that guy pumps him out.
It's pretty wild.
It is wild. It's crazy because somebody like me who does have ADHD, like I wouldn't think I'd be in for a good long form show like that. But all the conversations are pretty gripping, and it's just he's just giving kind of his opinion and then giving facts based on it and stuff like that. He's not trying to sway people in certain ways. It's just kind of giving information, and people make their own their own informed decision on if it's right or not. And I think that's the way to do it, man. Open conversation and let people decide.
Absolutely. And like you said, your attention turns to other things, but I can watch him and the Sean Ryan show. I watch both of those pretty consistently. I listen to both of them either way, but yeah, I can listen to them long for 2 to 3 hours.
What do you like to do? You like to listen to a podcast or you like to watch?
I usually am in my car, so I'm listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. I like listening too, but then I like when they're explaining something kind of to see the visual to go along with it. Like sometimes I'll listen to it and then I'll go back and scrub to wherever they were talking about something visual so I could see it,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I do that sometimes. I'm listening going, fuck, what's he putting on the screen? Like, I want to see this.
Yeah. I'm trying to work out figure out some editing programs and stuff so I can make us reels and stuff, because that'll be the biggest way to expand. We'll make like 30 to 60-second reels and post them out there. I mean, the audience is building nice, but it's easier to build an audience when you have those small clips as opposed to trying to get somebody to invest an hour and a half to watch a show,
Right. And we put the call out to the people if any fans want to try to do some reels.
Good choice. Yeah. I mean, we're empowering
anybody out there.
Yeah. Make reels, clip it up however you want. If you want to post them to your social, tag us. If you want to give them to us and we tag you, however you want to do it. But help us out here and bring us along. And who knows? Eventually, we'll be looking to hire people for stuff like that and whatever. It could turn into some cool shit. So if you guys want to hop on board, hop on it.
There you go.
You've been
one of my favorite mugs.
You always have. I love Intercourse.
It's Pennsylvania's Intercourse, PA.
Okay, I love it. We got to make shirts for that. Actually, that's a really cool saying.
That's why I got the little buggy on there.
Holy shit, dude. Yo, I watched 1883, bro. That is crazy. It's Yellowstone before.
Oh, the prequel, right?
Yeah.
I have never watched Yellowstone, and now I have to watch 1883. I gotta watch this shit.
Well, I didn't watch Yellowstone either. Like, I put on the first 3 episodes. I was like, this is pretty cool, but I could see how good it's going to get. But 1883 just starts off. It's a banger. Like, I didn't realize how fucking crazy the times were back then. And like all the like America made promises to all the Europeans coming over, like, come over, you'll get free land. They forgot to mention that there's fucking Comanche,
Indian, right? Native American Indian tribes there, or whatever you call them, natives.
Yeah, that were literally there, trying to kill. And then they also did, even the people that were coming over, like, were criminals and shit. So you had to worry about stuff from all angles, dude. It was
That's why they call it the Wild West, right?
Yeah. And then he's got one after that called 1923, which again is the progression of the story into Yellowstone. And it's just fascinating, dude. Like, I think about the shitty times we're in now, but then I watch something like that and I fucking count my lucky stars that we're not in those times.
Yeah, I mean, people tend to want to make the political divide right now into this thing where you're going to lead to civil war. Highly doubtable, but like the country's been to places like this before with this, even more division. Like, I mean, around the Civil War, for instance, the first Civil War, I mean,
yeah,
the division of the country obviously was freaking way off the charts,
unprecedented. Yeah,
it is now,
right.
But yeah, it's like, the the policy was called Manifest Destiny to take over the continent of, from go from sea to sea for for occupy the land for the United States.
Right.
And it was brutal, obviously.
Brutal. Brutal. And
Yeah.
then because 1923 gets into what was that trail called? The something trail where fucking like hundreds of thousands of people died trying to make the trek from like spring and they had to get there before winter.
Oh yeah. Not
The
sure. I can't remember.
Oregon Trail, the Oregon
Oregon
Trail.
Trail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And geez, man, not only do you have to contend with weather, but you had to contend with people trying to rob your carts, whether it's just, European criminals or, Native Americans. It was just insane, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Insane.
Hard living.
Totally. Like,
compared to what you have now.
and if you think about it, it's not that long ago, dude. Like 1923 was literally 100 years ago. That's like your grandparents' almost time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
that's insane how far we've come in that time. And it's still not where you want it to be. Like it's better in the countries that have kind of got a little bit more civilized and have money, but it's probably way worse in these third world countries than we even can begin to comprehend now.
Oh, absolutely. Their life is hard living for sure compared to us.
Isn't it strange that like we're over here living with our cell phones and planes and stuff, and then there's like tribes in Africa or parts of the world that don't even know like their language is clucks and clicks and there's no written stuff. Like it's crazy that that's happening simultaneously.
It is a weird juxtaposition for sure, just to think that those tribes are out there in the Amazon. There's that one tribe that's uncontacted on what's that island called? Senegal Island,
Yes.
off of India,
Yes.
and they won't even like they've tried to go contact them, and they fucking shoot arrows at them and shit. They murder. I think they murder somebody that got onto the island.
Yeah, so that was the best
Yeah.
part of it. Some boat came and these guys were just like, had wooden like arrows and pitches and stuff like that. And then a boat crashed. They killed whoever, the person or people on there. And then next time they saw these people, they had like metal arrows and shit because they took it from the boat and sharpened up. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, they're leaving those people alone. They're not even trying to mess with them, which is cool.
Just think about those people though, like they got this metal from this boat and they're like, what the fuck is this shit? Like,
Right.
they obviously know it's useful.
Yeah.
They're like, did the gods make it? That's probably, I guess, what they think came from the gods. And
For sure. I mean, if we didn't like, I don't know if the Native Americans, if they saw like boats coming over and stuff like that, but they were building like teepees and like skinning animals for their like homes and stuff like that. They weren't building like ships and all that stuff. They were riding horses. So it's
Right.
like, it's like once they saw a boat coming over, they were probably like, what the fuck is this crazy creature thing? Like they probably had no clue what it was.
And all these white guys are getting off.
Yeah. Yeah.
This pale skin, they're like, what the fuck?
Well,
Who are
that's
these people?
we were always told that there's black people, white people, black people because they're closer to the equator. So like, their skin got, rid of the whiteness so it didn't burn, stuff like that. But why
They
were
make more melanin, yeah. Mm-hmm.
why were Native Americans so dark when they're not that close to the equator? You know what I'm saying? Like America doesn't seem to have that type of path, yet they're darker than what you would consider Europeans at the time.
Well, we're getting into like genetics and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just talking.
I assume because they lived outside most of the time. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's the point. That's a good point. They didn't have stuff to go indoors. They were mostly, even with the skins on the teepees and shit, the sun's getting through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Northern Europeans had a bit of a colder climate than most of America. Maybe. I don't know.
Dude, but here's the one thing I'm thinking about. Now, bear with me here because this is a little dirty. But growing up, like older guys were always so against going down on girls. And I kind of didn't know why once I started to get into it. And I got into it, mid 90s, late 90s, 2000s, once shaving started to come into play. But I'm watching 1883. These girls shower like once a month, no tampons, no razor. Like it was probably a chore and a half to go down on a girl you wanted to back then. Like you had to deal with crazy shit going on. Like there was like the Vietnam jungle, you know what I'm saying? Like you need to clear that shit with Agent Orange to go through. So I think that stuck with guys forever. ever. And then like around the mid 90s, 2000s, once the baldness started to come in and ladies started to realize, then the change started to come in. But I remember like talking to people like, say they were born in the 40s, 50s, like that's like that type. They were so against going down on their girls. And I'm guessing that's because why? They didn't have that clean stuff. And it was,
They're like, too hairy.
yeah.
Hair in your mouth.
Yes, hair on your hangy ball. That shit sucked.
Did you ever hear of a merkin?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen one.
So the whores back in the day, they would shave all their hair off so they wouldn't get crabs and shit, but they would put the merkin on to look like they had hair.
Oh no! I knew a merkin was a toupee for a vagina, but I thought this came like during Hollywood time when they were shaved and they needed to put one there. I didn't realize it was invented for that. That's
Yeah.
So they would take.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was invented for.
Wow, they would take horsehair and put it down there as their hair.
Right, but shave all their hair off because of crabs and whatever.
That's what I want, fucking. Rather than vagina hair, I want horse hair in my mouth. Well, hopefully it was a female horse and not a male horse. You got their ball hair in your mouth.
No thanks.
Yummy. Enough funning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we do have Mike Bailey coming on. For those who don't know, another drummer extraordinaire. Been in a bunch of bands. Been with Bret Michaels, which is cool, man. Every rose has its thorn.
Yes.
That's a cool song, man.
It is. He played with them for quite a few years. He's not playing with them now, obviously. I met Mike at this thing called the Drumathon down in Dallas that April Sandwell puts on. She's a breast cancer survivor, and she does this drum, and she's a drummer, obviously. So
Cool.
She started this charity called Drumathon. She does it yearly in Dallas and raises a lot of money for breast cancer awareness.
Sweet.
And she's a survivor herself, obviously. She's pretty good, fucking very good drummer too, I should say. So she gets up. It's pretty cool. I mean, I went down. She invited me down through this girl, Lori Peters, who's also a professional drummer, and
Lori Peters.
Mike and I were both there, and along with the drummer of Gin Blossoms,
nice,
and Phil Verone, who plays with Saigon Kick as well.
How'd she get all you cool people together? It was just like,
I guess she just reaches out. I was friends with Lori Peters on Instagram, and she reached out to me, but just through contacts, and it was pretty cool. It was fun.
yeah, that is cool, and for a good cause too. There's nothing better than a good time for a good cause, raising some money for something like that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and it was also cool to get together a group of drummers, and I'm sure Mike and I will talk about this, but you get talk shit on lead singers and guitar players.
Yes, and it's in your circle too, so it's not getting back to anybody that it shouldn't be, which is cool. Wait a second, you can't tell. You talked about your lead singer. Oh, that's right.
Exactly.
There he is. Mike Bailey.
What's up, Mike?
What's up, John?
Chilling.
Can you hear me? We
Yes.
good?
Well, hear you well.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Hey, Chad, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you? Good to see you.
I need my reading glasses in order to see my screen here like John.
Yeah.
I'm rocking the shades.
Dude, thank God they got some cool glasses, because back in the day I had these Harry Potter looking folks. Not that these are far off from there, but for a little geek.
I got fancy contacts that are multifocal, so
that's what I need, Chad.
Far with them.
I gotta try contacts again, because I tried them way back in the day, but this was like back in the day when I used to smoke weed from morning till night. And I think it dried my eyes out to where the contacts were just screaming to come out. I mean, re-wetting drops all day. Did nothing. Sure. So I was like, I'm going to stay away from these, but I should retry them now that I don't smoke as much weed.
That's good.
No, I need to smoke more.
Yeah. No, not saying it's good that you're not. It's funny. I was listening to the Bill Hines podcast, and you guys touched base about that subject, and I thought it was kind of funny.
The one and only.
So, Mike, I got a question for you. Were you playing drums in 2014 with Bret?
I joined that year. It was.
Did you play in Indianapolis at the Indy 500? Did you play that gig?
we did a lot of NASCAR gigs. So I would say yes. What do you know? Because it was July, August in 2014 when I started.
Well, Indy's in May, so you probably might have
Okay.
missed that one. I'm asking because so at the time, a company that I own part of, we sponsored an Indy car, and the driver Hinchcliffe, he had I'm sorry, yeah, James Hinchcliffe had a girlfriend that was really fucking hot. And Brett Michaels was hitting on her right in front of James, and he's like, "You're a fucking douche canoe, dude."
Douche canoe. That's great.
And James is Canadian. He's fucking hilarious. So yeah, that came out of his mouth. So we've been using douche canoe ever since. And
That's a great.
He's calling that right to Brett's face.
Well, I gotta say it doesn't surprise me, you know.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I don't blame Brett. The chick was really hot.
Hell no, I do not blame Brett. And you got to give Brett props where props are due, man. That guy had Pam Anderson in her prime.
For sure.
Before she was defiled by Tommy Lee, Kid Rock, the rest of the fucking, rock and roll.
Agreed.
Maybe you don't want to answer this, but did you get to see Brett's little tape with Pam?
I've seen it.
Yeah, good for that, man. If only the lighting was better. I thought it was better than Pam and Tommy, to be honest.
Yeah, it was interesting, that's for sure.
She's a hottie, man. I mean, I don't think there was a person hotter than her in her prime. Like when she was doing,
I agree.
Oh my God, I was like, that's a woman. It ruined it for me. I'm like, nobody in my high school looks like this. Like, where are these ladies? But
now, John, where are you? You in California as well?
Jersey.
Oh, you're in Jersey.
Yes, sir. How about you?
I'm in Northern Virginia, right outside DC. I was just in Newark 3 weeks ago. Hoboken or whatever.
Ooh, yeah, Hoboken's awesome. Newark's coming up, man, and Jersey City too. Like they were going like really crime ridden for a while, but then I guess investors came in, started bringing in sports venues and nice apartments. I mean, you're overlooking New York City, so
yeah, for sure.
It's amazing it got that run down being that close to New York City.
Right.
I mean, all northern New Jersey's like,
it's spray paint everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually took the girls we wanted to do Christmas in New York City. So we went early December, did FAO Schwartz and Rockefeller Center and, all the
tourists,
all the stuff.
Yeah.
All the tourist stuff. Yeah. My 8-year-old has never been to New York City. So she was like,
overload. Like, what is this?
It was great.
What are your girls' ages again? 8 and
17.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Second grade and a senior.
So like you're on the verge on both of them of like getting into crazy times. The 8-year-old, a couple years is a teen. The 17, 1 year is 18. It's like, how does that feel as a parent I mean, I'm sure you're going to have control because, whatever, but how does that feel as a parent to go from full control to somebody at 17 to 18? And it's like, what can I technically do here? How do you navigate in that?
Well, I can tell you that it is a true blessing that the 17-year-old is a really, really good kid. Like there's no drama, right?
That's great. There's
no boy issues right now. There's no drug issues. There's no sneaking out of the house issues. There's, it's, we've all seen teenagers. We've been teenagers. We're guys. And just to say she's been amazing. And, now Sabrina, the 8-year-old,
little Rambo.
When she gets 17, I'm not expecting those same results. I would love them.
So I have my son's 14. He's super chill. He's always been super chill so far. And in his teen years, he's been great. But I have twin daughters they just turned 10. They're going on, 17, but but one of them's really super emotional, and the other one's can be devious. So
nice.
It seems to be
what happens.
Balance within a household, I think.
Yes.
Like they're not going to be the same.
Definitely not. No. So one of them may cause me problems. We'll see though.
We got to break out that belt early.
Is that the one that bought you the coffee cup?
This coffee cup?
No,
I bought this myself.
the
The
Mike-
one, the farter one? Actually, no, the other daughter bought me the farter one.
Okay, all right.
I was surprised. Yeah, I would have expected that from my London, but yeah, came from Holland. So
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And
absolutely.
I tell you, I got off Facebook about a year ago. I just deactivated my account. I do Instagram, but I got hacked about a year ago. Had to start completely over.
Oh.
Yeah. So the first couple of weeks, I think you guys were just Facebook, but congrats on expanding and tightening up the technical stuff. It's been great watching the show get, every week just gets more and more solid. So as far as putting the whole production together. So.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. That's all John. John keeps tightening it up. Getting us on the other platforms.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Well, appreciate you watching this stuff and for sure for coming on, man. It's great to have you.
Yep.
So
we had a good time at the drumathon, didn't we?
Yeah, I told John about that's how I met you. Yeah, that was great. So April's amazing.
Got to talk some shit.
Oh yeah.
I told him, we're a group of drummers. We're all talking shit on lead singers and guitar players.
It's funny. I know if you told John, we went out after the drumathon, Samantha Maloney, she played with Crew and she, with Hole, with Courtney Love's Hole. And, even as a musician, whether you're local or you achieve some national status, and this is something I want to talk to Chad about, you're always interested in hearing everybody's stories, their experiences, good, bad, and all that other stuff. So it was great to get some insight from you about what, real things. The same thing with Samantha. So those little things are good memories for me to connect, especially with drummers. And it's funny because I wonder if you put like 10 guitar players in an RV together all day that are doing the thing, is everything going to go smoothly as it did for all these drummers? With me, you, Phil, Samantha.
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
They're going to get some. It's going to be some conflict for sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
Who has the bigger dick in that room will come out very quick. I think.
Yeah. So, but
it was cool to hear Sam's, her story how she got in the Crew too. That was wild.
Yeah.
Sam, is Sam a younger?
No, she's late 40s.
I would guess 40s, but
yeah, she played. She was the original drummer in Hole.
Nice.
And played with them, and then she obviously plays drums a lot in LA and stuff. But she got the gig with Motley Crue when Tommy couldn't do it for a few shows.
Badass drummer. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's awesome, amazing for sure.
I think, Chad, and I could be wrong, but I think it was during the time when Tommy went to being singer, guitar player guy. So
is that what he was doing? Yeah. Okay.
I thought she did a whole tour.
Okay.
But my recollection. But it was a long day, and
Yeah, I know. I mean, she might have done a whole tour. It's I can't remember what I ate yesterday, so shit gets fuzzy sometimes.
Exactly.
So how did it work? Did you guys play drums? And if so, who were the musicians that you were kind of drumming for?
Well, so April has a house band. And then you get up and do one or two songs of your band's,
Oh, cool.
Or whatever songs you want to do. If you have other songs you want to cover, she'll do that too. But so I did 2 live songs and then the people that donate, they can get up and choose to play along with the drummers.
Wow.
I didn't do that. I wasn't comfortable doing it, but I mean, maybe next time I'll do it. But I don't know. It was my first time doing it, so I was kind of like, anyway. I'm an introvert, so I'm like,
and probably a perfectionist. You kind of want to know what you're doing before you dive into it in front of people, maybe not behind closed doors.
Yeah, I'm not much of an improviser. So anyway, it was fun, and the house band was great, and April would generally play along with you as well. So on the drums, so you have 2 drummers up there whacking away.
Wow.
Yeah, they would basically have it set up. They got 2 kits set up, and what they call the celebrity drummer group, and whether it's like Phil Varone, the Saigon Kick, or Rich Redmond from Aldine, or Chad from Live, you go through the list of. They've had Mark Schulman with Pink, Like a lot of these very successful like Chad drummers, they donate their time and they have these 2 kits up there. So after you do your own like 3-minute thing, and like Chad, he could do multiple songs, you do whatever you want. To help raise money for their breast cancer foundation. Local musicians are there going, hey, I'm a drummer and I'd love to jam with Chad.
Nice.
You know, I'm a huge live fan and or whatever it might be. And so you get up there for 2-3 minutes, they donate their money, and it's a great cause. They have a great team over there. I've been doing it. Well, I did it in 2019, did it 2020, 2022 with Chad. You know, and I'm always game to contribute and help raise money and, you know, participate whenever I can. So
I love it. I love the fact that it was, you know, that she put this together. I love the fact she got a bunch of good names on the bill, and, you know, the cause that she's doing it for, you don't get much better than that. I was saying to Chad earlier, there's nothing better than doing a fun event, and then it's for, you know, it's for charity as well. So that's a cool thing she's got going there.
Yeah, it's kind of like a team building event. You know what I mean? Everybody feels good. Everybody's putting in their work and nobody's asking for anything in return, you know, and it's a good situation. So
yeah, that's what makes the world go round. And I think I would have thought with the implementation of the internet, it would have brought people closer together and made them realize like we kind of share the same ideals and stuff like that. But it just seems to divide like on basic shit, like shit that we shouldn't be divided about, we're fighting about. So it's like, it's almost, it's like a double-edged sword. It could unite, but so far it seems to divide more.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the beginning, I think it was uniting, but now it's, yeah, it's dividing us on purpose.
Yeah.
Distracting us from the real issues.
When it first
messy situation, that's for sure. You know,
that's for sure.
I think when social media first came out, it was like the Wild West. Nobody knew how it was going to be used. And then I think real quick governments realized, wait a second, we could just start fucking with people and getting them infighting. And then, they took a cool tool and turned it into a propaganda machine.
And never do anything about the regulations of the internet, you know?
Exactly.
Right.
Well, how do you feel? Do you think there should be more regulations on the internet, or do you think if they got their fingers into it and they regulated it, that it could just fucking?
I think the social media companies should be regulated, or at least, you know, what's that? There's some rule that they use, like Rule 233 or something like that, where it gives them that they're a public forum, so therefore the government. They can how's it? I forget how it works. Basically, they can censor whatever they want to censor because they're a public forum.
Right.
But if I think it's some kind of rule that goes back to like newspapers and stuff.
Right.
I have to look it up. But anyway,
freedom of the press or something, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I forget what it's called. Anyway, so that's the rule that they hide behind and they use to censor people.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. But then, like you know, if you asked me 5 years ago, I probably would have been on board with regulation. But then after seeing kind of the way the government used it to silence stuff or enhance stuff, it makes me second guess that. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't Facebook censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story. It was the FBI and CIA telling them, no, this is fake. This is Russia bullshit. So that's the governing body that would be regulating it too, probably. So it's like, it's just fucking weird. It's a conundrum.
You know, I was actually born in the District of Columbia, and I could go on my navigation. I'm 32 miles from the White House, and Chad knows where I'm at in Ashburn, Virginia. He's been to this area. I live in data center central over here. Like I'm surrounded by data centers in Ashburn. Yeah, so it's. I don't know. There's so many hot topic issues, you know, whether it be, you know, guns or social media or this or that, or healthcare, or giving healthcare to illegal aliens, undocumented. Like it's almost like, you know, if they just mix up this bowl and let everybody on the left and right just attack each other on an unregulated social media, they get to continue doing what they're doing. You know,
that's what I meant by design. It's like to keep you away from the real issues. Yeah.
Right.
California just passed. I mean, California is 36. We were just talking about this before you came on. California has a $36 billion deficit, yet they're giving free health care to all the illegals coming in.
I read that, I think it was last week or the week before about that. And, I'll be honest with you guys. I've been a registered independent for a long time, and I've voted on both sides. And anybody, if I were to run to office, pull my records. I'm not lying about it, but I just think that, they could be doing things like that. That shocked me when I saw that about California. Right. It like literally sometimes you go, what am I missing?
Right.
Like, is there a component to this that I'm missing that I don't understand?
Right. That's what I always say to myself as well. Like, right. There's got to be some like justifiable reason to do this that makes sense, but can never seem to find it.
Behind it.
Bobby, mute yourself, because if not, it almost seems like it's being designed to bring down our nation or states like California. Like when you're introducing DACA cops, which something Chad and I were speaking about a couple of weeks ago, which are illegal immigrants that they're arming with guns and badges.
That's in California too.
Yeah, they're going to then pull over, citizens and ask for their papers. Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? So it's like you hear shit like that. If they have a grander plan in place, like, please tell me that, because something like that, I'm like, this is.
I know what the grand plan is. Votes,
right?
Votes for blue. That's what the grand plan is.
Right.
I love it. And then and so Texas, I mean, obviously is like at the center of all this, and they've deployed the National Guard down there, the Texas National Guard, so they're starting to take over.
Blocking.
But I mean, what is it? Abbott starts sending these people on buses to Chicago and New York, these sanctuary cities. And now they're like, we're overwhelmed. We can't take any more people. Stop doing this. And now the mayor of New York is suing the bus companies.
Right. He can't.
And blaming Abbott for this, not blaming Biden for his open border policy that's let in 8 million people.
And if
it's Texas's fault.
Right. And if the governor of New York has such a problem with it, what's his plan for Texas, right? Because they're part of our union, no? Or
it's the mayor of New York. The governor of New York has a problem with it too, but both of them are like, we're sanctuary states and cities, but stop sending people. We can't take any more. And now they just took over an elementary or a high school in Brooklyn and kicked out all the students to house I mean, what the fuck is going on? We live in clown world.
Hey, while there's homeless people, Americans that follow this country out on the street.
Right. Exactly.
That's, again, a lot of this, they don't connect, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And, I have to drive down the district usually once a week or once every couple of weeks or whatever. And you're reminded, I mean, there's so many homeless people everywhere, and it makes no sense.
Help those people.
Right.
Help those people.
Right. There was,
and now you have the mayor. Was it someone in either the mayor of Boston or someone in Boston calling to have people housed? Like, if you have an extra room, house a family.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, okay, here you go, lefties that want to have the whole border open. Step up. Put these people in your house. Let's do it. Come on. Put them in your house. You wanted them here.
Then when they raised the 13-year-old.
Who's the Robert Hayes that keeps popping up? Who's that cat?
He was almost fired today. He's our young Jamie. If you watch the Rogan, he's our producer who pulls if we need internet or stuff pulled up, he'll do that. So that's it.
All right. What's up, Robert?
Hey.
We call him Bobby.
Bobby.
How you doing?
There
he is. Mike, so those sticks in the background, are those, is that like something you made, or because it looks artistic, or is it just kind of you threw them up there and it turned out cool?
Are you talking about the sticks?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know what that is? We were playing at the Hard Rock, and I think it was Biloxi. No, it was Orlando. The band was. We were staying, and if you're playing the Orlando Hard Rock, they put you in this level 7 is like the rock star level, where they put all the artists and all that other stuff. The room had a custom made thing exactly like what's behind me, and it was just 30 drumsticks, give or take.
Nice. And
you painted each one different colors, and you put a main bar behind it, and then you put the sticks on it. So I basically took a picture of it and stole the idea.
That's awesome. I didn't know where you were going with the story, if you stole it from the hotel room or if you stole the idea and made your own. Okay, glad you admitted to stealing the idea.
I'm the lamest rock star. Like, one night we were in a hotel room getting just ridiculous, and we decided to just mess up the entire room, right? And you know what I did? My
Cleaned it up.
OCD person, I cleaned it up.
I would do the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't throw a thin little TV out the window. I didn't like smash anything. I tried to like flip stuff over, act all stupid. And then like an hour later, I'm like, what the hell? So I cleaned up the entire room.
I wouldn't even take part in that. I'd be pissed off if people were doing that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Fucking disrespectful.
You know what's funny is one of the guys, if we'd ever have to bunk up or whatever, I'm like the super like cleanest person around. So I pick up if we had pretzels in a little bag or the towels in the room, I'd put it underneath the sink in the bathroom. I would tidy up the room, and they would say, they pay people to do this. Why are you doing that? I'm like, dude, it's called respectful. I'm just leaving the room as clean as possible, and then whatever.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't want to live in a pigsty. I get it.
Exactly.
So I was going to say the Orlando Hard Rock used to and may still have a big, gigantic photo of Ed behind the front desk.
Oh yeah,
our live lead singer.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there, but anyway, it was always cool to check in and see. Oh, there's Ed.
And in Hard Rock in Atlantic City, there's a big picture of Live on the wall right before you go into the venue. It's like a promo picture of you guys right before you go into the main venue at the Hard Rock.
Nice.
Yeah.
Must have missed that
for a long time. Yeah, because you probably never go through that entrance, probably coming through the back way, but like where the fans go in to get into the concert, the big
okay.
Yeah. So that's dope. Yeah, you guys got memorabilia probably at a bunch of Hard Rocks you don't even know about.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I was gonna say, how does that work? Like, does the Hard Rock get this stuff donated? Because they got like Jimi Hendrix guitar and like cool ass shit, like Neil Peart's drum set and stuff. Like, where are they getting that? Are they buying it? Is it getting donated? Do you guys know?
I think generally it's donated.
I believe so, but
on a temporary basis as well. I think they get it back. I believe, but I'm not sure exactly.
Like a museum deal type. They'll display it for a little bit, but they don't own it type stuff.
Yeah.
They probably do like a contract for 5 or 10 years or whatever the length of time, and go back at the end of that contract. And either the artist goes, they want their stuff back, or I don't know. That would be a guess for me, because it can't be, I don't know.
I'm kind of pissed that the Hard Rock Hotel closed in Vegas.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's a Virgin Hotel now.
It was the shape of a guitar, wasn't it?
No, that's the one in Miami.
Yeah, that's one in Miami. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vegas Hard Rock was infamous, man. We had a lot of fun there, but Circle Bar was always great, and they had a great venue there. You play, but that's closed now. They still have a venue there, but it's the Virgin Hotel.
The little road story when we were playing the Hard Rock in Vegas, the event center. Off stage left comes Hugh McDonald, the bass player from Bon Jovi.
Okay,
he was doing a residence there, and he walked up on our sound check with a huge bottle of Jack Daniels, and he was just like, he was just the nicest guy. And I remember we sat in the green room after the sound check for like an hour and just got to know the guy. And it turns out he did pretty much all the bass lines from beginning to end as far as studio.
Oh wow, okay, that's cool.
Which like Runaway and In and Out of Love, the first record, all that stuff.
Wow.
Like, yeah, Hugh McDonald's been like the unseen bass player from the beginning.
That's awesome.
And then
Interesting.
Whenever they got rid of Alec Van Such or whatever his name was, the bass player, they just brought the guy they already had from recording onto the stage.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We toured with Bon Jovi. They were doing a stadium tour in Europe, and we opened for them back in 2006 or so.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
That was fun. And they were all great guys. John's very nice.
Yeah.
And Tico Torres is great, and Richie Sambora. I didn't meet the bass player, but everyone was really cool. In fact, we got stuck in the festival traffic. So we played this one festival with them, and we got stuck in the traffic, and so they held the stage for us to go on.
Oh wow!
Which is amazing.
Oh wow!
So, yeah. So it was really cool to tour with them. They were super nice.
It's good when you get a tour together when everybody is on the same page, and it's a huge difference of how things.
It's a
flow.
huge difference, and they gave us full sound and lights and shit. We did a tour with Jane's Addiction one time, and we actually get along with Jane's Addiction, but I don't know if it was their crew or whatever, but this is in the mid 2000s as well, so we were opening special guest, whatever the fuck. And we did the first 2 shows, and they gave us like half sound and half lights, and we were like, "What the fuck, man?" So
like a band. It sounds like a band that's concerned.
You guys,
well, yes, and so
yeah.
instead of us trying to out rock them, I think it was Chad or Ed's idea. We went out and fucking bought all this like furniture and put it on stage, and we played acoustic.
It was amazing,
and we rocked it that way.
Wow,
so we went
that's amazing.
I think Ed introduced you guys as you were the lube before the sex act. So Jane's Addiction was the sex act. You guys were the lube before it. And it was a perfectly way he put it, because Live came out, and I think this was not far after 9/11, because I'm pretty sure Ed came out, and this is when he was wrapping the flag around them doing Overcome. So this might have been 2001, 2002, 2000, somewhere around there. And, Live just came on, did their amazing acoustic unplugged set, and really wrapped the crowd. And then I couldn't tell that they were half volume, I guess, because they were playing, the acoustic versions. And then, the complete sex acts came out, and there was just women naked and like on like these spinning ropes and like crazy shit going on. I'm like, this
is all great, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the problem?
Right. But that was,
James is awesome. I love that band. I've always been a fan of them, but it was like, oh, you giving us half sound and half lights. What the fuck? Okay, well, we'll do unplugged. Fuck it.
Brilliant.
That was cool.
So Chad, what did you do when you did the
played I played a reduced kit with like, hot rods kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
They were all in like mechanic jumpsuits and shit.
We wore like overall, like coveralls.
Yeah, it was cool. That's when Ed was growing out his hair, and he kind of looked like he had a I could say this now, a Jufro, because you're allowed to say stuff like that nowadays, according to
that was his self-professed last ditch effort to grow hair.
Thank God he ditched that effort, because that was in 2006, Chad, when you were doing Bon Jovi, and I'm probably going to catch hate for this, but was he sounding all nasally and crazy like he does now, or was he the old Bon Jovi where it was like that dude had a crazy intense voice back in the day?
I don't remember.
I
don't remember. I didn't get to see a whole lot of shows, because we usually would leave as soon as we were done, because we had to get out of there and get to the next place. But
too cool for school, you guys were.
No.
All right. Hey, so I've got a question. I want you guys' opinion on this. Like, in the past year, there's been a couple of things that Bon Jovi's released, and he's not released, but you see online, social media, this and that. And I to say I feel bad for someone that's been so successful, that's not necessarily the right word, but it sucks when you lose your instrument. And my personal thoughts, just as a musician, because I do know that lead singers, and I don't mean to categorize, but I know they'll tally mistakes during a show. Like if Chad slips up here or there, he'll go talk to him after show. Hey man, I heard you mess up, and the bass player misses a couple lines. But I see that last
speech.
Well, exactly. That's the difference between a rock star and a hired gun. You know what I mean? And I just felt like he was doing a disservice to his fans by paying the money that they were paying, and he wasn't able to deliver. It's not his fault. His voice is gone. But I just thought like, hey, either you need to take a break or something, because people are paying a whole lot of money to go to these shows these days, and either you track it or I'm not saying track stuff, but like his voice was really bad.
Yeah. But
I haven't heard that. I didn't know he was having vocal problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
that does suck. I mean, you gotta feel a little empathy for that. I mean, it's
of course.
It's hard.
Yeah. And you think a lot of the ranges he was hitting back in the day, it's life. If you get older, your body, and so I get it.
Well, Sammy Hagar just.
What about Vince Neil? I mean, there's some good stuff in him out there too.
Vince Neil, true.
You just said his name and I started laughing. Those things on social media are so great.
Well, Sammy Hagar just said, because he's going out with Joe some
with the Van Halen thing.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going out now because in 2 years from now, I might not be able to do these notes. He's like, I got it still, but like 2 years from now, I don't know, so I'm going to do it now. That seems like the chivalrous thing to do instead of when you don't got it, still going out milking your fans for the loot, you know?
Absolutely. There's that line somewhere in there, and but we've done a bunch of shows with Sammy, and I mean that guy's just unbelievable. Like from just a human being perspective on a personal level, like he's such a great businessman. He's always seems to be a very nice guy. He's just right on the money every time, and he just his voice. And what's he in his early 70s?
Yeah, he's in his early 70s. Yeah, I have a buddy, a designer buddy, who does a lot of designer work for Sammy, like for his tequila and record covers and stuff. And yeah, he says he's just an amazing guy. Just always happy and freaking nice and just.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you guys into the band Tool?
Love Tool.
So
Danny Carey, come on, this guy's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, but Alex Gray, the artist, produces all the visual and art stuff that Tool Maynard have on stage. My friend just went to their concert in Madison Square Garden, and I know Alex Gray's work, but I have no idea what he looks like. She knew Alex Gray and his wife, went up to him, got pictures with him, and then like got the backstory of why they were there. They were literally there taking notes as the show was going on, like what they want to change, what they want to do, which is, I mean,
he's a skinny older man with a nice ponytail.
Yeah. And it's great.
I remember correctly. But yeah, his art's amazing. I mean, they've put, I don't know, from I think maybe their second record or third record, they put his art on the cover.
Ah, smart. I mean, and to incorporate that into your stage show, almost like a Pink Floyd The Wall type deal, is brilliant, man.
Tool was probably one of my favorite bands I've ever seen, and Mike, you'll identify with this because Maynard is the anti-lead singer. Like he doesn't stand on the front of the stage with the spotlight on him, like, look at me, I'm the lead singer.
Right.
He's fucking literally skulking around in the shadows, in the background. Like I saw him move an amp at the show I went to, and he's just singing back there. You're just like, what the fuck is this guy? But it's cool because I concentrated on watching Danny like fucking rock it out. So it was a fun show it was a great show for me. I loved it.
Yeah, he's more about the music and like the visuals that the fans are getting on stage, as opposed to him being up there taking all the spotlight, which is cool. I guess with a voice like that, whether you're in the spotlight or not, they're gonna know who the fuck you are because that guy's voice is legit.
This is true.
Legit. Hey, John, you're from the Jersey area. You ever getting into Coheed and Cambria? You ever heard of that?
Yes, of course. So there wasn't my type of music, a little heavy for me, but a lot of people around me, them and E-Town Concrete, bands like that, yeah, they were into them for sure.
Well, the reason I bring it up is they kind of did the same thing where they had storybooks, cartoons, the visual images to go with their releases and that sort of thing. And I've never been a huge fan of Coheed. Like whether it be the voice, the sound, it's just not exactly what I would listen to every single day. But just as a group from New York, I respect them. Like they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody doing
Coheed? He sounds like Rush a little bit.
Yeah, and they're doing something different, which is cool. I think you got to nowadays, right, to stick with when Taylor Swift is the #1 touring act, and like by far, like there's something wrong. Like that should not be. I think she's got great music. She's a good voice for like a generation ish. But come on, dude, this is not what should be selling the most money, in music.
I didn't watch the Golden Globes, but Joe Coy told a joke about her, and she did not take it well. Like, come on, get over yourself. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm hearing it was like
she said the difference between the Golden Globes and NFL is that there's way more way more camera shots of Taylor Swift.
Way less Taylor Swift.
They panned to her, and she's like pissed about it.
No, way more on the NFL broadcast, and then they panned over to her, and she was like,
right.
Yeah. She's laughing all the way to the bank, that one, though.
That's right.
My daughters love her, and I keep telling them, like, she's going to break up with Travis.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, she's not.
That's a conspiracy.
She is.
That's a conspiracy. So she was a big Philly Eagles fan. So the conspiracy is that right before playoffs, she's going to dump Travis, is that Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
His heart and ruin their playoff run. So we'll see if that's.
I think I told you that. I heard that somewhere on Instagram.
Any conspiracy
sounded plausible.
Yeah, it does. I could totally, or at least
she's a plant.
That's more fun to me than they're actually in love, you know.
But his brother plays on the Eagles, right? Travis Kelce's brother is an Eagles.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, she fucks his brother. That's the real conspiracy.
That's right. She dumps Travis, starts fucking the brother during playoffs.
Oh, my God. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Gracious Tuesday. That's funny. So, Mike, when's the last time you were on stage? And how did you deal with taking off during 2020, right? You had to take some time off with the COVID?
Yes. I, since COVID, I've laid low. I'll be honest with you. Like I've been in a band since 14. Started playing drums at 9, right? From 14 until the pandemic. In 2020, I turned 50. And I'd literally never taken a break from local bands and then again in a regional band and the opportunity to tour on a national level. I never stopped playing during that time. I had an ankle surgery, so I was out for a few months. Other than that, so I felt like once we were actually scheduled to play a cruise, and obviously that got canceled. That was in early March of 2020. And my last gig with the Bret Michaels band was on Fremont Street in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that was our last gig of that run. And we went home that, the next day. And then, within the next week is when COVID went down. And, my daughter was born when I was like a year after I started touring, and I didn't have, so I missed a lot. And if anybody knows this, Chad Wood, and about missing your family. And it was one of those things. It's my time to roll, I mean, and again, to touch base with Chad on this, there's a difference between a hired gun and the original member. Like, you know what I mean? And I've seen patterns with a lot of singers where they get rid of the band just to get other people to pay less so they can make more money. And I don't know if that's the case at all with live or anything like that. But it's a shame when you're brothers and you all have a common goal and you all work towards that common goal. Like everybody's sleeping in the van or everybody's sleeping on the floor. You're all together, but then for things to separate when you achieve success, I always compare it to a relationship. It's like a relationship's difficult enough, must have 4 or 5 people in it, and it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
So
we've obviously had our share of ups and downs with the band. So but like I've told John this, and like when we came back together in 2016 after the shit that went down in 2009, 2010, where we sued Ed and whatever and got messy, which I later apologized for. But in 2016 we came back together, and I was still friends with Chad Taylor and Patrick, the bass player, and I told them, I was like, listen, we need band therapy. Like we should be doing band therapy when we come back together. And no one wanted to do it. And I'm like, this is gonna fucking end in disaster, just like the fucking last time. So that's what happened.
Well,
I mean, COVID cut it short, and then it ended in disaster. But anyway,
I'm not, I'm sorry, Mike, Chad. If COVID never happened, do you think that this might have never been kind of brought to light, and you guys would have done that South Africa tour, and shit would have been?
We would have done probably 2020, but I think it would have. There was going to be a point where it was going to break again.
Gotcha.
And
sorry about that.
No, what I was going to say is like, like Motley Crue's been, in my personal opinion, it's just kind of been a, train wreck the last several years, or, but if they did not do that band therapy before Dr. Feelgood, like what would the history of Motley Crue have been post if they did not make that decision to do whatever they did to come together as a group? And they still produced great music after they did that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I'm right on with you, dude. Like it could have made a huge difference for people to see other perspectives. And,
Sure. I mean, it's, the guitar player and the bass, or guitar player and the singer, that's where the real fucking fissure lies in our band, which is, seems to be typical. But I was like, we all need to do therapy to friggin', air all the just get everything out in the freaking, out in the universe and discuss it and fucking whatever.
Hey, you don't need to go see a therapist when you're a narcissist.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's this is part of this problem, but they don't want to see therapists because they may expose that to what they are.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, so I tried, but now everyone was like, "Nah, we don't want to do that." In fact, Chad came back to me once he had talked to Ed and negotiated whatever the fuck deal they did. But saying basically, we're not going to talk about anything in the past. We're just going to move forward from here. I'm like, great.
That always works.
Just bury your feelings way down deep inside and never bring them up again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Pretend
like
they don't exist.
Yes.
It's like cheating on your girl, getting back together, and then asking her to just not bring it up. It usually does not work. I'm sorry.
Don't talk about that.
I'll talk about that. Yeah. Never works. But yeah, that would have been something that could have worked. But like you said, with some egos in the band, they might not want to hear that unbiased point of view, especially if it doesn't align with theirs. So you don't know if it could have worked, could have made it worse. It's just a fucking crazy situation.
Well, we needed real management too. Someone that was fucking put their foot down and said, "You have to do this." Like, we don't have that kind of manager. Or Live doesn't have that kind of manager.
Yeah,
he's a yes man for Ed. That's all he does. So, I mean, for God's sakes, fucking Metallica did this, right? I mean, Metallica.
Exactly.
Did therapy. Right. James Hetfield and fucking Lars, and I mean, come on.
Yeah, nobody's bigger than it.
I mean, those two guys are so polar opposite, and they're such a great example of at least understanding the value each person has in that business entity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, look, I've always said, like, it's, and I don't know how true it is, but like Master of Puppets was just a masterpiece to me as far as the drums, right?
Sure.
Everything on that album, always loved it. So I've always, been a fan of Lars, but I know a couple times I've seen him, the tempo, this or that, and I'm not here to knock anyone, but it's like, it shows your normal, whatever. He's them two being able to deal with each other and continue this I respect that, because Absolutely. I think Lars would be a lot to deal with myself, but I
think is Lars more in the spotlight than James? Like, I feel like he does more interview than James. Like,
well, Lars talks way more than James,
but maybe that's
just in general.
It seems,
but I think that's the band agreement that Lars is okay being the spokesman.
Yeah,
But I found a lot of drummers like myself and Chad where I'd rather just play my drums and stay out of all the rest of the other stuff.
Yeah,
I just won't play my drums. That's it, and not deal with all the the business side of stuff. But,
right. Unfortunately, you have to, because shit happens where you got to get involved with that stuff. And
sure.
It's funny because I talked to Chad a bunch now, and I'm like, dude, you have a cool ass personality. Why were you so quiet when you were in the band? Like, you should have been out there, like, letting your personality be known and stuff like that. Like, it humanizes you more. I think it's a good thing. I understand shyness and stuff like that, and not wanting the spot.
Well, in the beginning, we would do either, we'd do all we would split up doing the press and stuff, and in the beginning, and like throwing copper or even Secret Samadhi, and then but if it was like 3 or more people talking, like in an interview, I just won't get involved, because it's like, if it's just me and someone else, like, I'll talk, but if it's me and 3 people or 4 people, I'm just not going to say much.
Yeah.
But and then it became, well, Ed and Chad are just doing all the press, and I was like, okay, whatever, fine. And then it just became Ed doing all the press. So, okay, great.
Well, because I've heard old interviews where it's either you one-on-one with somebody or something, and like your answers are funny, and they're like, it shows the human side of you. It doesn't seem like something fake is there, or you're putting on an act. It seems like it's you, which, like I said, it humanizes you and it draws people in. So I just think it would have been a good way to, to bring in more fans. Not that you probably needed them at the time, but I don't know. It seems like it could have been a cool thing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's why we're here.
Yes.
Now.
That's right. Everything he couldn't do in the 90s is coming out in the 20s. 2020.
Yeah, exactly. So, Mike, tell us about your drum furniture business. It's really freaking cool.
Yeah, thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. When I was thinking it's probably 2018 or so, when Poison was going out on a summer tour, and they would only do every 2 or 3 years. They go out for 60 days and do 30 dates with Def Leppard or whatever. So I knew that the Bret Michaels band would have the summer off. When you have the summer off, you're not getting paid, right? So I started my own side business, and basically I went on Facebook Marketplace and started just buying used drums everywhere. And so I started making snare drum clocks and drum hoop clocks. I've got a bass drum. That's my, and I put a 22-inch glass top on it, and you can put like whatever custom drum head you have, your favorite, or put your VIP passes or whatever. So I'm making floor tom tables, bass drum tables. There's bass drum head displays. I'm basically taking a 22 by say 16 or 18 kick drum, and I'm sawing it down about 6 inches deep so it lays on the wall that's not too far out, right?
Yeah. Nice.
So there's all kinds of different stuff, and that's where I found Etsy, and I started selling everything on Etsy and an Instagram shop. And then, I've made a lot of different bands. They're mainly like drum hoop clocks. Like I made Billy Bob Thornton.
Nice.
He has a band called the Boxmasters, right?
Yep.
Very kind of Tom Petty feel. And this concert photographer that I knew in Missouri connected me with Billy Bob when he was playing here in Annapolis, Maryland. And I'd end up making the drum hoop clock for Billy Bob. And just like anything, Chad, you know this, people bring you gifts, on the road. It's just what happens. But the next time I saw it, like a year later, came back and he gave me this signed CD of the Boxmasters. And I'm like, well, CD, right? But, and I'm like, oh, thanks. And he goes, no, look at it. I looked at it, and he had actually put the image of the drum hoop clock on the album cover.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of his acting, his movies, and his music's good too. So I thought that was kind of cool. Jake Summers from Luke Combs made him a clock. In fact, John, you've got the foam soundproofing stuff. Maybe I can make a Gracious 2 drum hoop clock to put either behind one of you guys, or to promote the show, or just to have your little sign, or whatever.
That'd
be happy to.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Mike,
Yeah, so
before you go further, just tell them your Etsy store and the Instagram, because I know people are going to want to check this stuff out before I forget to ask you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's very straight. Instagram is at Custom Drum Decor.
Cool.
And it's the same thing at Etsy. If you type in Etsy at Custom Drum Decor, you see a whole ton of different drum products. So I take anything. I make cymbal clocks or, whatever. So, or like something like that behind me. I've got a drum lamp over here where I take rack toms and I install a wooden bar in the center of it and drill a hole, and it lays right on the lamp stand. So you can have a rack tom lampshade in your room, or yeah.
Were you into construction before you started this? Like, how did you get really? Wow.
Never did any type of, like, I got my bandsaw, circular saw, got my Dremel tool. I got, and the pandemic was a perfect opportunity to really kind of push production and
hone your skills,
create more products. And usually October, November is the best months for me. I load up through Etsy and some of these other sites online, and custom orders too. So, but yeah,
it seems to me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chad.
I was going to say, Mike, you should, when I'm back in Pennsylvania next time, you should come up to York and check out the studio and the building we have up there, and
hang out.
Put a piece of your drum furniture in there somewhere, or a clock or something. It'd be freaking cool. Yeah, I might be back towards the end of January, but I'll let you know when I'm back there for sure, because it's fun to come up and check out the place.
Beautiful spot.
So Chad, I got a question for you. There's like one of your YouTube videos, a lot of the videos, like especially the one where you're doing more recently, where you're doing Iris, right? Where is that? Is that in York?
Yeah, that's in York. It's the studio in York. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure because I'm looking at. I'm like, wow, that's a nice space.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Dude, the rooftop.
There's a long story about it. I'll tell you when I see you in person.
The rooftop bar and it's like got outdoor seating up there is legit as fuck too. Like, it's just a cool spot. There's apartments, there's crazy studios in there, and you could.
Yeah, it's where I stay when I go to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
You could flip the wall.
And who's still in York? Your like family?
My mom and my brother still live there. Actually, my brother is kind of the supervisor of the building, but yeah, my mom is there. I have tons of family in New York there. That's where all
That's
my
great.
family is.
That's
My
great.
father passed away in 2010, so, but yeah,
My
mom's still
father
there.
did too in 2010.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry, guys.
We'll appreciate it.
Thank you.
The walls at the studio, Mike, you could like flip them to where you have it either bouncing off the walls, the sound, or where it deads the sound. It's kind of a cool little feature.
Wow.
Yeah, it's state of the art, man. I mean, it's beautiful.
Oh, Bill said I'm supposed to call him my fake stepbrother.
Your brother-in-law.
He's
Step.
he's
He was adopted.
he calls himself fake Uncle Bill to my kids. So
Fake Uncle Bill.
Oh, he's definitely an Uncle Bill for sure. Uncle Billy. I think I'm going to start calling him Uncle Bill. He might not like that though.
I don't know if he like that.
He's my age. Uncle Bill. My friend has nieces and nephews that are older than him, and it just blows my mind to have an older person call a younger person aunt or uncle. It's like strange to me. It's never my family.
It's weird.
Yeah. His father has like, and the reason why this is he's got marriages and kids from multiple different women. So that's how.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Man,
Yeah.
spreading around.
So I put I tagged the company in my link or my post on Instagram, so people can go there and find it as well.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. I appreciate it.
Very
Mike,
welcome.
you called it like custom drum furniture, but it seems to me it's more like, while it could be, useful as furniture, it seems like it's almost like art as opposed to, even though it has a functional use as furniture. Do you consider this an art, or are you just building your furniture?
Yeah, both. I mean, to give you the perfect example, in the pandemic, I got a message from, he's a big promoter of the 80s bands. He used to manage Poison and Cinderella and a whole bunch of other bands. And he's got, I don't know, 5 or 6 cabins in the Pigeon Forge area. He lives in California. He actually owns the Monsters of Rock cruise, if you've ever heard of that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he saw a post online that the bass player that was with us in the Bret Michaels band, who was Eric Brittingham, the bass player from Cinderella, he was our bass player in the band. Eric had bought it's an LED floor tom. So what I do is it's a floor tom, 16-inch floor tom. I install LED lights inside of it. I put a brand new white head on it, and I put a 16-inch glass top on it. You got a remote, so if you have, your man cave or whatever room, dim it down. It's real nice to have on there. Eric liked this finish on this one floor tom I had. It was a red marble kind of finish, so he ordered it.
Nice.
When he got it, Eric posted a picture of it. Larry Moran saw this and contacted me, and he goes, "Hey," and when this go back to your art question, and he goes, "Hey, it's my wife's birthday." He goes, "I love the floor tom table, but I'm thinking, can you make something that's a floor tom, but you have a lamp, almost like a table that has a connecting lamp to it, right?"
Right.
So, and I'd never made a product like that. So I ended up making this where I took a boom stand, a cymbal boom stand, and I installed it in a block of wood that I installed on the floor tom. So you had an extension out of it, and then I put the rack tom on that stand, right?
Boom.
Cool.
But the kicker is he wanted the Frankenstein design, the Van Halen, Eddie's guitar. If anybody looks at that, like it's one thing to create that kind of crazy design on a flat surface, but when you're doing it on something round, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So it got the exact tone of red, and then it came out amazing.
Wow.
And I've only made one of them. The downside is I ended up making a 14-inch, I get a snare drum hoop, and I ended up making the Frankenstein drum hoop clock, right? I posted it on Etsy, and it didn't take not even a week for the intellectual property lawyers, Eddie Van Halen, to contact me or to contact Etsy, right?
Wow.
And go, no. And it was probably just a few months after Eddie had passed. So I was like, delete, So if I do custom stuff where like that, I might just make it and send it. There's so much stuff I've never posted because I don't want any issues. You know what I mean?
But was that Frankenstein thing patented or whatever? Like, isn't it just something like that was there? Like, did he have any trademarks on it or patents on it? Like,
look, I would pay him a percentage for it. Like, I have no issues with it. Why? There's nothing I'm trying to do. Like, we're musicians. You release music, as long as I get a piece of the art that I created.
Yeah,
they were cool.
Right.
But I just wanted to eliminate the issue, and I just got rid of it.
Yeah. Less headache for you, the better. Yeah.
So what's your website again for the drum furniture?
Just custom drum decor. I actually dropped the website, to be honest with you, man. I was getting so much traffic through, like, say, Shopify and Etsy and these home decor sites.
Yeah.
Right. And I was being charged, I think it was like $30 a month just to host my website and have it up. And I'm looking at my numbers, and I do web design too. So I created the entire page and everything else, a really nice looking website. So I can relaunch it, like, if I ever wanted to, but it was just a thing where I was like,
so you're not even using it. It's like, makes sense.
I mean, any business can look at stuff and go, well, we're not, we're investing here, but we're not getting return over here. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to pull it down for now. All my stuff is coming through Etsy or Instagram shop or my Etsy shop or whatever else. So, but I appreciate you asking now.
Yeah. So my father was a carpenter for, I don't know, probably 35 years of his life. And I picked up a bunch of skills from him. I'm curious, what kind of saw are you using to cut a 22-inch bass drum to 6 inches deep? What are you using? Handsaw?
So I actually have a handsaw, but I don't use it. I actually use there on the Dremel tool. There's a little tiny saw that you can use, right? And I push it through to make the cut about that wide, just into the wood, and then I take. It's basically a blade, a thin blade like my finger, about that long. And I put it in and I start rolling the bass drum around, because I've drawn a line, like I measure it exactly all the way around, and I draw a pencil line on that mark. And then I'm trying to think of the name of the tool. That's how much of a carpenter I am.
Sawzall. Sawzall, where it's got the blade sticking out of it. It's kind of thin and it just goes back and forth. A Sawzall.
I didn't want to do that. Yeah. You hold it. I did. Right. It just goes that in a really fast motion, and the blade is facing forward. And so I just roll it slowly, and then I lay it down and I sand it out. And then, so that's what I use. And I've gotten much better at it. So there's, and the great thing is, to get a bass drum, I can make 2 products out of a bass drum. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I put LED lights in it. A 22x6 is basically the standard size I usually make.
Right.
So, yeah.
Cool. I was just curious about that.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated that you decided to just pop into that, during COVID, like that. That takes skills, and the fact that you're kind of doing it and they're coming out good is like impressive to me.
It's I appreciate that. I don't know if it's lefties or artistic or anything like that, but I don't know. It just seemed like I made one drum hoop clock, and basically what I used to do is I used to go to Home Depot, right? But when I first started this, and when you go to the lumber section, you see the pallets of wood, like say it's a huge boards and they're all stacked up, but you see these little spacers that are real long in between, that before they ship to Home Depot on the pallet, they put these spacers in. And I found these spacers, and I ended up picking up a whole pile of them. And then I went home and I lined them up together, and then I sanded them down, and then I got glue, and it became a square. And then I took my bandsaw and I cut a perfect 14-inch circle, basically a snare drum head. And then I sanded everything down. So the drum hoop clocks are individual wood spacers. Like I could just get a solid piece of wood, but I ended up finding a lumber yard that basically said, yeah, come clean up our lumber yard with all these free spacers. So, so that's kind of where it started. And then
you just glue them all together and use bar clamps to keep them in place. And then
I use my weights, any like these 8-pound weights or whatever I have them. After I glue them, I put the weights on top of it. So the part that's facing down is absolutely flush. right?
Got it.
Which would be the front of the drum hoop clock.
Nice.
Yeah, then I go through and I sand everything down, and I use a ton of different stains. I've gotten used to polyurethane and how to use that with a matte satin gloss, like what is good for what, and it's all a process. And I've made so many over the last couple of years that the products are actually really nice now. Not that they weren't, but they just got much better.
Sure. Well, things get better with time.
That's right. And things get more pricey with time too. Don't forget that. As you keep doing it, the higher that price goes. So
that's right.
Get in on the ground floor, people.
Hey, it's funny. When I met Chad, I was like, I remember saying something to him because Chad plays barefooted.
Yeah.
You know that. Right. And so I'm curious, where did that start? Because every drummer's got, I got to wear these shoes, or I have to, do this or do that. Where did the barefoot thing come?
It started in my bedroom. I would when I got my first kit, and when I was like 12, I bought a kit from a kid in the neighborhood. I still have it. It's called a Ruther, and it's still in storage at the building actually. But
wow,
that's great.
So I set it up in my bedroom, and I just didn't put shoes on. Would practice every day and never put shoes on. So it just became a thing.
That's it.
I actually walk around CBGBs in bare feet.
Can you play with
many times? What's that?
Can you play with shoes, or does it feel restrictive to you?
I've never tried. I mean, I'll play with socks on sometimes, but I've never put on shoes and tried to play.
Oh, so you've never,
especially with my kit. My kit is set. If I put shoes on, then everything's a little too low for me. So I'll start hitting rims and stuff. And
so every live show you've played has been barefoot.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was like majority, like 9 out of 10. That's pretty cool. All right.
We were touring with Counting Crows in 2000, and we played a show in Phoenix, and it was 100 degrees on stage that night. And the next night we were in Denver, and it was 32 and raining. It was 32 and raining when we were on stage. So that was some cold feet on the metal pedals that night.
Dude, wow. I would be like, this is not cool. So you went from 100 degrees down to 32 and still didn't throw like a fucking rubber sock.
I didn't want to put any socks on because I don't know if my feet will start slipping off the pedals and stuff. But anyway, so they got warmed up after a couple shows or a couple songs.
Dedicated to the craft, man. That takes commitment. You see some hippie singers that do that too, but they always have carpet underneath the microphone, so they're like not on the bare stage like Jason Mraz.
Oh yeah, I wear flip flops to and from stage, and then when we're standing like before the show, we would usually stand around and get ready to go on and stuff. But I'm always really cognizant of people stepping on my feet. So I'm trying to stay out of the way.
That's how you know you're successful, when you wear flip flops to work, and it's just like, I might take them off and play right now. That's the key to success right there. So Mike, you're fully shoothed up when you're drumming?
Do you wear a particular kind of shoes?
I usually Adidas, the black Adidas ones that just
your Yeezys you got on?
my Adidas kicks. Hang on. My Adidas kicks I got, they just seem to, I know there were drummers that go, I have to play in wrestling shoes and, stuff like that. You're like, all right. Everybody's got their thing.
Everyone's got their thing. Exactly.
Everybody's got their thing. And, that's cool. But, it's funny because when I started touring and we started doing stuff like outside shows in Minnesota or if you play in Canada or in Colorado and that sort of thing, and I'd never played with gloves before, or even really hot, humid shows. And where your sticks may slip up a little bit or whatever. And I did it a couple of times. My tech would have a pair, and it was always uncomfortable for me wearing gloves.
Imagine.
I tried that for a minute, and then ProMark came out with that active grip, which is what I use now. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
It just gets a little bit tacky with heat, and they just stick right in your hands. It's freaking awesome.
You tape the stick or your hand, Chad?
I don't tape anything. It's a called active grip. They dip the sticks in it, and it's like this little. It just gets activated with heat, and it gets a little bit sticky.
That's cool.
Not like overly so, but like the sticks will not fall out of your hands.
Almost like batting gloves.
Hey, Chad, a good trick. A good trick is is using, skateboarders using sex wax
For
their boards.
Yep.
You get that sex wax and just go up and down the bottom of the stick or whatever. It's not sticky.
Same
your
thing.
hands yeah. I did that for a little bit, but then there was a product by a company called Groove Juice. They make cymbal cleaner, and they have a thing called stick grip, and it's just a little spray can. You go like that, and if you let it sit for a minute, pick it up, and it's perfectly fine. But then I used to order from Vader the resin bags or whatever, like gymnast shoes.
Yeah,
Vader actually. And I would have it hanging right off to the left. And if there was a show of my hands, I just put my hand on the, pronounce it rosin bag, whatever it's called. Rosin, the white powder. And that was awesome. That always worked great. But the gloves always threw me.
I think it's just asbestos, they call that.
Yeah. Right.
I couldn't do the gloves either. Plus, I don't like the way they look.
Yeah.
Get some calluses on your hands, guys. Come on, let's fucking do this.
You look like Madonna from like.
That's why my hands. Like you don't play for a while, and you come back. The first few shows, your hands are just like fucking grinder meat.
Oh, it's right.
Oh, it's not good. Yeah.
I'm a very amateur guitar player, and I know that very well. Like if you just stop playing, like back in the day when I was playing every day for years, it took a while for the calluses to go down. But now I pick up a guitar like 2 or 3 times a year, and each time it's like my fingers start to split and get gross pretty quick. Like how the hell did I build up those deep calluses back in the day? Now I'm like a little girly with it. Start playing.
I just play enough. They'll build right up. Takes me about a week and a half, and my hands are all calloused.
Yeah. They come back like that. Okay, that's not bad.
No.
I guess I just have no patience for it nowadays. I used to love playing the guitar. Now it's like, I don't know. It's not as enjoyable as it once was. I think I reached my skill level with it, and then like that was it. I hit a plateau, and there was no going past it. I think.
Right.
So then I got a little bored. But so Mike, are you planning on doing any more of those charity things? I know that you said that 2022, I believe, was the last one you did for the cancer one, but that seems like something you might like to get into while you're, doing your furniture and also like in between tours and whatnot.
Yeah, I actually each year I send at least 2 different products to the Breast Cancer and Stick Foundation for them to auction those products.
Very cool.
And then I generally start my own fundraiser page through them
Nice.
to help raise money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's I believe in karma. I believe in that if you do good things, that the good things will come. I mean, I don't know. A lot of us can be angry and upset about stuff, and I don't I try to avoid that as much as I can. And I think I've had skin cancer. I've had 7 skin cancer removals in the last 6 years, and I mean, I could send it to Chad or whatever, but I've had like the entire left side of my nose replaced.
Really?
Cut off. Yeah.
Well, they did a great job. You would never be able to tell. Looks great.
It was so bad, John. And what sucks is I noticed when I started touring in 2014 that I had like a freckle on the left side of my nose. It looked like something right under the skin. And I'm prone to it. Like, although I've never had a skin cancer issue prior to that, I'm Irish, I got freckles and light skin. Both my sisters are redheads. I got red hair in the family. And I pushed going to the doctor back because the type of touring we were doing with the Bret Michaels band was we might go on a bus run for a week or 2, but then we come home and then we go out for multiple fly dates. Fly out Wednesday, do gigs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever, fly home Sunday, come home for a few days, go back out. And I put it off. I found out it was a skin cancer, but I put it off because I think, and Chad will understand this, that when you get to that level, that if you call in sick to work, somebody else might take your job, at least when you're a hired gun. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I really didn't want to miss any time for work. And then it was, I think, 2016, when it was announced that Poison was going to go out on a summer tour, I immediately set up everything I could, and I didn't realize how bad it was going to be. So they had to basically cut the whole left side of my nose off, right? And they ended up cutting from here to here about an inch thick, and they flapped it down onto my nose.
What?
Right? It's called a forehead flap enclosure procedure.
What?
Right? And if you look at my left eyebrow, it dips down a little bit more than my right one.
Yeah.
Because the cut went up this way, right?
Damn.
And so I had just a scar from here to here. And it turns out you have millions of nerve endings from here to here. So for 2 years after the surgery, I couldn't even feel my head.
Oh,
shit. Wow.
From here all the way to the back of the middle of the top of my head, couldn't feel anything. And this little thing would stay there for 2 weeks while it basically, kind of grow to my nose. And then they cut here and they cut here and they removed it. And when the plastic surgeon told me about the procedure they were going to do, I actually started laughing. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, are you kidding me?
It seems like
you're going to cut my forehead open. You're going to flap the skin down, attach it to my nose, and then I'm going to sit there for a couple of weeks or whatever else. I'm like, and then he explained to me, it's like, look, your face is the sun hits your face more than any part of your body. So your skin tone on your face is so different than the inside of your arm or on your butt or your leg or whatever it might be. So skin grafting had clearly changed. And this was a different procedure. So I told our bass player about the procedure, Eric, just before I had it done. And he went online on YouTube. And he came back the next run. He goes, "Have you seen what they're going to do?" I'm like, "No,
no, don't.
Why would I want to do that?"
Exactly. Don't show me.
I'm just gonna get it done. And he goes, like, "Dude," he goes, "You're not going to be back by the end of the Poison tour. You're not." And I said, "I will be. You watch, dude." And he goes, "You need to watch that video because you're going to be out for at least 6 months." I said, "All right, we'll see." And thank God I had a good plastic surgeon. Thank God I went and I got this mix. Essential oils. I looked up what's really good for scarring and all this. I can't remember all.
Vitamin E.
There's something called mother's oil that my ex used for stretch marks for when she had twins. That was, really good. Yeah. Anyway,
that's what I'm saying. So I found it was like 8-10 different essential oils all in this one little roller bottle, and I would do my forehead and do my nose, and then next thing you know, I end up getting one here, and then. When this got cut down the side of my nose, she hit a nerve, and my hearing on my right ear. I mean, the feeling in my right ear went away, like for at least a year. Like I'm still at about 70% feeling in my right earlobe because she hit a nerve right on the right side.
Oh Jesus!
And
wow.
Yeah, but here's the good news. It was all basal cell. And what I learned is basal cell, you have a 1% chance of dying if you just never do anything about it. It's just going to grow and your cut area is going to be bigger. The squamous cell is a 5% chance of dying, right? And then you have melanoma. Right. And luckily there was never any melanoma. Shit. That's the bad shit, dude. So I've had like 6 or 7 cut out of me over the last several years. And, it is what it is.
The fact that they did all that and there's like no scarring, it looks great. Like what a great guy you had, and then I guess your aftercare regimen. Because if you didn't pick out the eyebrow or anything, I would have no fucking clue that any of that went down.
John, I'll send you pictures of it. When you see the pictures of right after I had the surgery, when that thing, you're gonna go, "Oh my God," right?
What was your pain with that? Because I mean, your face and like you're seeing it, so like that probably makes you feel more. Like, were you in massive pain after they did that?
Not really. I'll be honest, like I know when I got home, like my entire face was covered in gauze and it was all blood, and they had to replace it. And but I really don't. I mean, outside of my forehead, kind of messing with me because I couldn't feel my forehead, and the top of my head, and. For a long period of time, but no, I don't. I'm grateful that the experience of surgery wasn't really that bad, but we go back to like the breast cancer can stick in April, and you see people what they went through. I have no right to complain about anything, and what April went through with all the breast cancer, and then I may, if you don't mind me mentioning it, but like April's got that book coming out. If you've seen that. So she's written a book, and she's
nice.
Yeah, she's a real inspiration to the women in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. They give back. They do like pre-screening they pay for, or the education on breast cancer and that sort of thing. So my kudos to them for doing that, and doing it every year. And the fact that they get such high level players like Chad and Phil and to donate their time, it's a beautiful thing. So
what was the name of her book, if you know, Mike? Do you remember?
I can look it up, but it's breast cancer can stick it.
Breast cancer can stick it.
That's the name of the charity. Yeah, that's
the name of the charity.
That's the name of the charity. Yeah. And if you look that up, you're going to see the information for the book that she just wrote, which I will be getting a copy of. So April's Good People, and I know Chad saw that, and
absolutely,
And in fact, Scott Hessel with the Gym Blossoms, him and I were messaged right around this year's going, and Scott's going, man, we need to get Chad and the gang back next year. He goes, because Scott had a good time, and we were a good group of guys. That
was great. Yes.
Yeah.
Get
so
Sam back too.
Yeah, exactly.
And Phil, for that matter. Phil's great too.
Phil's a good dude. I'm hoping to catch Saigon Kick whenever they come through Virginia. There you go. All right.
Yeah, that's our website. Thank you, Bobby. Breast cancer.
Yeah, I follow Phil on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Instagram. And I guess he's announced he's the drummer for Saigon Kick going out on this tour. And I don't know if there was some beef with, I don't know if it was the old drummer or some guy named Matt. He was having I guess they had words or something. I was like, I don't know. He put up some post about Matt going off on him.
Band drummer.
I assume was the old drummer. Yeah.
Well, Phil's the original drummer, right?
Okay. Well, then I don't know who Matt is. I'm not sure. Maybe it's another band member or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I thought Phil was the original drummer of Saigon Kick. I mean, anyway.
Yeah.
I hope they go out and have a great merry time. Everyone gets along.
Yes,
exactly.
I agree with that. Can't we all?
Maybe they went to band therapy.
Right? Rodney King said it the best. Can't we all just get along? I mean, come on, people. Can't we?
I'm watching this show on Netflix called Loudermilk, which is really fucking good.
That shit's great.
Yeah.
What?
Did you get up to the band scene where the one guy so they has the group and the one guy has this really short arms in the group?
Yeah. T-Rex arms.
He was a drummer in some metal band back in the 80s, right? And some beverage company calls them to reunite, and they're gonna pay him each band members, there's 3 band members, $100,000 each to do this. And he doesn't want to do it because he's Alcoholic Anonymous and they're selling alcohol. So, but he goes to it's this British actor. He's been in other stuff, but his arms are really short. But he can play drums actually. He fucking played drums in the thing. So anyway, it was just funny to watch him have an argument because he didn't want to do the commercial because
they were drinking.
They were selling alcohol, and he's in AA, and so the whole band was trying to get him to fucking you got to do this, man. Where he's gonna get $100,000, and the fucking lead singer pulled out this fucking old single shot gun on him. It's
do it.
You got to do this.
It's
just funny to watch the band not get along over some business thing,
Right.
Oh, sure.
And one of the guy asked him so did your arms get blown off and then reattached? He's like, yeah, my arms got blown off and then they reattached my arms.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, no, I was born like that, you moron. It's a good show. It's the guys from Office Space, right? That's that. Yeah. Loudermilk.
Good show.
That's the only thing that throws me off is everybody calls him Loudermilk. I'm like, if that was my last name, I'd have nobody call me that. But
right, and he's also an ex-music critic from Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
In the show.
I was hoping they would bring up something on live because they were talking about some 90s bands in there. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they do at some point.
Maybe at some point. We'll see.
The 2 Chads. But, Mike, we got to have you on again because I had so much stuff I wanted to ask, but we're just running a little over with now, which is good because leaves the audience wanting more. But you're a fascinating dude, and I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for your charity work. And people, go check out his drum furniture art and give it a whirl. Tell the audience one more time the Instagram and Etsy.
Sure. Everything online, it's at Custom Drum Decor all the way across. No dashes or anything like that. Just at Custom Drum Decor. I have one question for Chad. Chad, what's your favorite record that you played with live, like that you released?
Secret Samadhi probably is my favorite.
Yeah.
Is my favorite of the bands, yes.
Where's the distance to here on your is it in your top 3?
I mean, yeah, it's in my top 3. I mean, it'd be Secret Samadhi, Distance to Here.
Nice.
Oh no, it's Secret Samadhi, Throwing Copper, Distance to Here, and then Mental Jewelry. And then
yeah.
We can go from there.
It's so hard to rank like your first 4 albums. It's like they're just fucking on other levels. Like to rank them is kind of almost sacrilege, because they're just all so good in their own right. They really are.
And John, if you remember, like putting on, whether it be a cassette or CD back in the day, and that emotion that you felt, right?
Absolutely.
And I remember like listening to Throwing Copper over and over. And I've told Chad the story that I locked myself in a storage unit, right? Like garage door, get in or shut that thing. And I listened to that Throwing Copper record over and over. And like Iris is like, that's my shit, right?
That is the
that's the shit. So what I was leading into is like listening to Throwing Copper over and over for a period of time. And all of a sudden, the first thing I hear when that next release came out, how that crunchy sound that they had, in Secret Samadhi with whatever. It was just like, I guess you get used to an artist's sound, but I loved that change, that dirtiness, that kind of rawness of that sound from that guitar on that, at least on that track. But I was always curious as a drummer, when you record multiple albums, it may not be the fans like Throwing Copper, whatever, 8 times platinum, but the drummer goes, you know what, this is my favorite. And like, I like hearing that because I might go back and go refresh it and listen to that Secret Samadhi again over just, because there's got to be a reason it's your favorite, right? So,
yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I guess just because it is darker.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Darker and a little more heavy, I guess, than even Throwing Copper. So
the day Samadhi came out, me and one of my best friends, and so we were, 14 or 15. We had to get her older brother, who was a senior, to ditch school with us to go to Sam Goody to buy the album and then put it in the CD player. Like those times when you're going to get like your band's new release, like that shit's all gone. These kids will never understand going to pick up an album, a cassette, a CD, opening it up, look at the liner notes, putting it in, and just getting that feel of like, whoa, like this is music. Like that's lost. Now it's everything streaming. You can't even pay attention to however many bands there are because there's fucking thousands. Like it's just, it's like so much shit was lost with all this new technology and stuff. Even though you have access to more stuff, something was still robbed from us, which is crazy to think.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that the labels will still have a packaging fee on digital music.
Digital package. Like what? Come on.
What? I mean, yeah. So
and the legacy labels will still pay you 75% on like CDs because it's new technology.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, John. I appreciate the invite, man. And I'll come on anytime you guys want to, shoot the shit. I'm here.
There you go.
Cool,
we
Mike.
put the shit.
Great to have you, man. Thank you for coming.
Again. Thank you.
Awesome. Dude. Awesome. Thank you, Chad. We'll see you soon, bud. Hey,
all right, man. Take care.
I'll meet you in York, PA. We'll do some jamming.
I'll let you know when I'm there for sure.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, good.
I'll record it.
Peace. All right, guys.
Take care.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Bailey was in the house. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. And yeah, I have so much more shit to ask that guy, but we got into a bunch of cool stuff, so it is where it is. But we'll have him on again for sure.
For sure, let's do it.
Next week we got some ladies coming on for you. It's a two for guest. Tara and Abby, I believe, are the names, so they'll be on. We have somebody.
No, it's next week is Scott Martin. Scott, isn't? I thought the girls were towards the end of the.
Yeah, I don't know.
January. I don't know. Last month or last Tuesday in January. So it's Scott Martinetti or whatever his name is.
Yes, you're right. I don't know what day of the week it is or what year we're in, but
I hear you.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll have fun with Scott next week. But we have a bunch of cool stuff coming up in the future as well. We have the guy from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Central Pennsylvania Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coming on. We got some people from South Africa coming on. Tell us a little bit about what's going on over there. We're diversifying people. We're looking to get some porn stars as well. Yeah, for everybody out there, both male and female. Don't worry, ladies. We got the male ones coming on for you too. Anything you want to say to these to the audience, Chad?
As always, thank you.
Yes.
For listening and watching, and we'll see you next week, next Tuesday.
Peace. Let me hit stop there.